My name is Joe Kalamian. I started in 1982. I started in 1982 as a runner at the Board of Trade, and before, what got me interested in this, I came over here to. A man told me I could do good over here, so I came over here, and they took me on the floor. And when I came on the floor, I just fell in love with the place. When I fell in love with the place, after that I tried to find a job down here. It took me a long time just to get a runner's job. But I finally got a runner's job at Goodman Manister. So as soon as I started running from building to building, doing all the odds and ends they wanted me to do, I tried to get a position on the floor. And I believe in about 6 months later, there was an opportunity that opened up at the Mercantile Exchange. This was over on Jackson and Wabash. They were building a new building at that time in 1983, and once they made the migration to the new building, I had an opportunity to come down there and become a clerk. So I got that job. They moved me to the Merc, and I started just falling in love with the business. I was a runner, then I became a phone clerk, then I became a pick clerk. And this, in the span of 3-4 years, I finally got an opportunity by another fellow trader. Back then, you had to have a certain amount of money as margin. So when I asked him for that opportunity, he did with some sort of harassment before I could do it, but they gave me the money with no questions asked. Because back then your word was everything. But I still didn't have enough money to trade with, so I had to ask another fellow friend to put up that money. They did that for me too. And I still didn't have enough money for the application, so I had to borrow that from my brother, this, that, and I finally got the application fee and I started trading. This was in 1986, August of 86. And I just fell in love with trading. I met the best of friends there, the worst of friends there, most rottenest people, the greatest people. Overall, though, the Merc is the most fantastic place I've ever, half my life I've been there. The trading floor, in my opinion, is the most dynamic, most exciting place to be at the age that I was. And it became just a way of living. What I loved was that your word meant something. It was almost like a battle. It was like playing sports, and I love playing sports. So the competition was there, camaraderie was there, and it was just a fantastic place. The most memorable moment was when everything was chaotic. We had the crash in '87 for me. It really made a difference for me in that my life was. You didn't know if you were rich or poor at that point. You had everything on the line, and you had your soul hanging out there, and then everything was left to, again, what you said, if the trade was good or not. And I remember the crash. I remember how I got through it, and it was really a blur at that point. But a week or two later, you realized you were part of a big thing that made a difference in the world. And when you saw that it made such a difference in the world, you felt part of something very unique. And the uniqueness really became was that at that moment you really found out who the true human beings were, decent and not decent. You traded even with people who thought they were marginal, but because there was a certain thing that the qualifications you had to have as a trader were your trade always had to clear. There was a saying down on the floor, trade always cleared. If the guy said, don't worry, the trade is going to clear, that meant something back then, where it was all about character, about honor, about respect. It was just a phenomenal place. and the giving that went on there was unbelievable. The charities that there wasn't a charity I don't know if that I didn't give to, because I always felt that you had to give back, and most of the people were like that, and most people did give, and they gave generously. A lot of charities here, really, the real charities that were saved or made huge, start on the floor. But there was also a lot of fun times there. There was a moment in the pit. I'm not going to mention name, but it was a person's name. He had a certain characteristic. He looked kind of like Groucho Marx. Just before the trading bell rang, everyone put the bald head, the glasses, and the cigar, a mustache on their face. And when the bell rang, it was probably the most funniest moments that I couldn't remember. But overall, again, there is no better place than the CME, and it's sad that the floor has changed to off the floor trading. And a lot of us guys that are left, that are on the machine, which I am too now, is I'm trying to recreate that upstairs in the office where we giggle, we laugh, we make fun of each other, and the camaraderie is still there. And it's become more of a pure trade for us, and we enjoy it. What we miss the most is the camaraderie. You know, trading's trading. If you're a good trader, you'll make money anywhere. That's my story. I'm sticking to it.